Good morning, love wrestling. Welcome in. It is Thursday morning. It is 10 a.m. And you know the drill. You know what that means. It means that I'm here. My man Drew is here. And we are here to talk some AEW. First and foremost, we got a big week. Going to talk some Dynamite, a little Collision. But really, we have Forbidden Door happening this Sunday night. So this show is really going to be a preview show for Forbidden Door for the most part, but we will sprinkle in the things that happened on this past week's show for the participants that we'll be talking about at Forbidden Door. But before we dive in, Drew, how we doing this fine Thursday morning? How are you, buddy?
It's a good day if you wake up.
Hey, man. I like that positive attitude, Drew. I like that positive attitude. It is true. Yeah. It is true. I feel like as humans, we're just in the grind so often that we really don't take time to appreciate that. We could have not been woken up today. Exactly. That probably would have been shitty.
It would have been. I have, which is unusual, but I've been doing it more recently. I have two windows in my bedroom / office, okay. And I don't usually open one of them because it's connected to the fire escape for my building.
Oh, yeah.
And we have.
And you're in an apartment building in New York City, correct? That's correct. Where you are located?
Yes, that's right. And I do not want people coming into my apartment because that actually has happened.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Before.
Oh, I do not doubt it.
Not to me personally, but literally across the hall for me, it happened a couple of years ago. So, but I have I've drawn the curtain to the side. I've lifted the blinds, and I can see the trees outside. It looks really nice. Looks like it's a nice day out.
Well, let me tell you, Drew, and you're not terribly Johnny in the chat, Scott in the chat. Good morning to you, fine folks. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. We're going to be talking some Forbidden Door today. You're not terribly far from me. Usually the weather that you get is around or the same weather that we'll get in Massachusetts. The last 2 days, Drew, have been hot as hell.
Oh, yeah.
The last 2 days have been hot as hell. Over 90 both days. Just hot, muggy. Not a nice 90. One of those terrible 90s. You walk outside and you're like, you just got punched in the face with humidity. And today, though, I went out there because today's trash day where I'm from. So I had to go make sure that, trash and recycling was good to go and they were going to get picked up properly. And it is nice out there. It is warmer. Around here, it's probably in the low 80s currently. By the time we end the show, might be a little higher than that, but not muggy. It's like a nice warm out there. Whereas the last 2 days and like last week, my God, those 2 or 3 days we had in a row there, brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. Yeah. Brutal. All right.
To answer Scott, yes, yeah. I am in witness protection.
He is in witness protection. He is in witness protection. We will see his face soon, but he needs to protect himself from what you heard him. He was just talking about people showing up and walking through his apartment. You got to protect yourself. Omar, what is good, my friend? Welcome in. Before we dive in, I want to get, the important stuff out of the way. As you can see below Drew there, we have our good friends over at NordVPN. Now, we're about to be talking about Forbidden Door. Now, If you live in the States, if you live where Drew is, where I am, if you just live in the United States of America, Forbidden Door costs $50 on Sunday night. Just like the pay-per-view last month cost $50, and Double or Nothing cost $50, and the one before that was $50. Well, if you were to use NordVPN, one of the advantages, one of the special things you get for using NordVPN is not only the safest VPN in all the land, because they are the safest, the most protected VPN in all the land, but you also have the ability, whether you're traveling and you actually want to have your home internet at your beck and call, or if you're in a situation where maybe you can't afford $50 a month for 10, 11, 12 months a year anymore, you can use the VPN. You can change your location. You can say you're from, I don't know, where, Drew? Pick a place. Pick anywhere.
I can say that I am from Moscow.
There we go. You could say you're from Moscow, and who knows? I don't know offhand, but Forbidden Door could be.
That came to my mind.
No, that's fine. Know. But that's fine. Moscow could be. There you go. Canada. You could go to Canada. It's cheaper through Triller, as our buddy Nathan in the chat just said. You could say you're from Canada. You could say you're from anywhere in Europe, Moscow. You could say you're over in Australia with our friend Josh Robinson. It might be cheaper over there. And NordVPN is just one of the ways that, you can bring your home network and your home Wi-Fi with you when you are traveling on the road, whether it is for vacation, whether it is for work. You will be protected. You will have the safest protection, the blocking and all stuff like that. And if you are a wrestling person or you are in financial whatever, you can change your location and maybe you can get the pay-per-views a little cheaper. All you can do, that is just a few of the things you guys can do when you sign up with our buddies NordVPN. They are the best VPN money can buy. So go check them out. Have a good time. And it's going to be a good one, Drew. It's going to be a good one.
It will be.
Yeah.
And I will be there.
Wait, you'll be at Forbidden Door?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, again, we haven't even dived into that. We're going to dive into this whole card, but you're going to be there in the building. That is fantastic. We have Scott in the chat saying NordVPN is the best. He says he's from Great Britain. And I know he's a fan of my sports, but I think he's around where I am.
I think he's saying that he uses Great Britain.
Yeah. I think he says what? Yeah, I think he says he's from Great Britain with the NordVPN, I think. Right. I think that's what I think I got that. I don't know.
That's okay, never mind. I think I didn't understand that you were what you were doing there. But yeah. Continue. Sorry.
No, it's good. But yeah. So Scott uses it. I know a lot of people that use it. They're friends over with our friends at Fightful as well. So go check them out. And last plug for me, obviously, Between Two Beards tonight, duh. But it's the last weekend of June, and you know what that means here at LPW. Tonight we have LPW versus the Clandestine Society, which if you are a member of our Patreon, you get access to watch that show a little bit earlier than everybody else. And tomorrow night, a big, giant LPW show, LPW 27. So let's party. Big couple nights here for wrestling. Big weekend for wrestling. Forbidden Door. We're going to dive into it right now. We got all our plugs and all our good stuff out of the way. Drew, as of right now, we have a Rampage to get to tomorrow. We have a Collision to get to on Saturday. But as of right now, we have 11 matches announced for Forbidden Door. One of these matches is on the 0 hour pre-show. And that match was announced last night. It will be a women's tag team match. It'll be Chris Statlander teaming up with Momo. Oh God, Watanabe, I believe is how you say that. Watanabe going against. I always feel like I'm going to butcher names, and it's bad. Versus Willow Nightingale and Tom Nakano. There was a lot of rumor that Tom Nakano was going to be the opponent for Mercedes, potentially coming into Forbidden Door. Obviously, she is fighting somebody else that we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, I don't know much about Tom Nakano. I don't know much about Momo either. But obviously, the Statlander Willow rivalry This will be in the tag match form, so we're not going to get the full blown, one-on-one thing here. That'll be down the line, but I think this should be good. I think it'll highlight that feud. It will highlight a couple of the Japanese women. I'm expecting this to be a pretty solid pre-show match to kind of get the crowd ready to go, Drew.
Yeah, I agree, because I, like you, have no knowledge of either of those women. I'm imagining they're probably feuding in New Japan. That's my guess.
Oh, yeah, wherever, Shimmer or wherever there. I don't know.
Shimmer, yeah.
But I would assume, or one would guess. I mean, I honestly don't know, so I don't want to. But I would assume, like you, that like maybe they have something going on over there in Shimmer or wherever they perform, and they're going to kind of make the best of both worlds and kind of double up the rivalries here in this tag match.
Yeah. Well, I have the heels winning. Sorry, I think they're going to win.
I would agree. I think Statlander and Momo winning here. I mean, I feel like I can only talk about it really with the Statlander Willow line of it because that's what I know. But I think it would make more sense for Statlander because we assume, Drew, that these two are going to end up fighting one-on-one in the semifinals of the Owen Hart Cup, correct? Are we both in line with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be really the first one-on-one with Statlander and Willow where, so I wouldn't be shocked if Statlander gets the victory here and her team gets the victory. Yeah, and then it's true. They are both from the Long Island, New York area. So it would have been nice for this to make the main show, but I get it. It's a pay-per-view. Things are crowded, but as long as they're on the show, they're going to have that moment with the crowd. I think that is, that's a good thing, but I agree with you, Drew. I have Statlander and Momo winning. I think it makes more sense moving forward. And then here we go. Here we go, man. All right. So we are back. We are to the main card. We have a couple trios matches, Drew. We'll start with one. It is going to be the Learning Tree. Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and when we're going to talk about what happened on Dynamite last night, because we still don't know the third partner yet, versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. So last night I
don't think there is a third partner anymore.
So is it not 3-on-3 anymore? It still says trios match where I am. Did they say it's 2-on-2 or is it literally 2-on-3?
Well, wait, hold on. Let me
because it was supposed to be Brian Keith. They played an angle on Collision that Brian Keith got hurt. Last night on Dynamite, the Learning Tree comes out. Jericho says, "Hey, we found a partner. You guys are screwed. Even though we want Brian to be there, this guy is even more dangerous than Brian." And then he shows a video, and it's Minoru Suzuki. And Jericho's all excited. He's like, "Ooh, it's going to be me, Big Bill, Minoru Suzuki. Let's go." And Suzuki in the video says, "Hey, I appreciate you asking me to be your partner, but no, I want to fight you. I don't like you. I want to fight you. I want to fight you and win that FTW title." So
yeah, that's happening at Forbidden Door.
Did they officially announce that though? That it's 1-on-1 though? I didn't see a graphic or anything like that. Did they break it away?
In the thing that I sent you,
yeah.
They don't have a graphic for the Learning Tree.
Really? All right. Because the thing I'm following, which has the tag match, the women's match updated on it, it still has this trios match as part of the card.
Now I understand why you said 11 matches, because I was looking at that thing. I said, I only see 10 matches.
Yeah.
Not 11.
Well, because that still has that on there. So I am assuming that FTW title, Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki is happening. That would be, I'm in on that. I would like to see that. All right. That makes sense because I know they were running that angle, and then obviously they do that. Minoru Suzuki kind of tells Jericho to go screw, right? Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata come out last night on Dynamite. They're kind of laughing at him like, that didn't go to plan, huh? And they start brawling. But I at least I didn't remember commentary or anybody ever saying like, hey, this isn't a trios match anymore. This is going to be this. This is, I didn't remember commentary kind of addressing that. So I just kind of kept it as, all right, they're going to have to find another partner or whatever. So that's good to know. Because all right, well, if it is the one-on-one,
it hasn't been confirmed. Like I haven't seen that confirmed. I'm going off of what I saw last night.
Okay. Yeah, because what we saw last night in the segment, it made me think of like, oh, you know,
I mean, they're not going to have the Learning Tree wrestling twice on the show.
No, exactly. Or, you know, and Brian Keith is playing, either he is injured or is playing off an injury. So I was like, all right, maybe they just, because the way that I look at it is, if they call off this match, then what the hell are Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata doing during this show? Because I feel like those are three people you want to have on this show. And if you're all of a sudden just throwing them off the show, I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe they'll do something on the pre-show. Maybe they'll announce another pre-show match or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. All right. So we have one. Yeah, a lot of these matches have stakes, which is good. I'm glad about that. So, we have ourselves a singles match, and we saw a little bit of a face-to-face last night, during Dynamite here. It was kind of a cluster what was going on, and I feel like it kind of got overshadowed by other things happening. But we have Orange Cassidy going one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. and Kyle O'Reilly had themselves a terrific match last night on Dynamite. Really just a technical masterpiece, really. And that's what you expect from Zack Sabre Jr. and Kyle O'Reilly. But I thought last night that was the perfect kind of match, Drew, that it shows everybody that like technical wrestling doesn't have to, it's not this boring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they hear, oh, this is a technical match with submissions and reversals and grappling and holds and all these things. And I think on the surface that could mean boring to a lot of people, or like, this is going to be a slower whatever. And I thought those two guys went out there last night and they were like, no, we're going to show you that a full-on technical wrestling match can be the most exciting thing you see on this show tonight. They killed it. They absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited to see Zack Sabre Jr. in person for the first time ever.
Oh, man, that's going to be a treat. That's going to be a treat.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to that.
Yeah, he is he wrestles a completely different style. Like he is flashy, but it's a different type of flashy. It's not a high flying flashy. It's he reversed out of that submission. I've never seen anybody do it that way before. Like that's the type of, you know, wrestler that Zack Sabre is. He can get in and out of any hold in a way that you've never really seen before anybody do. Like the way he moves, the way he reverses things. I have not seen him live anytime recently, but I did get the pleasure of seeing him live a long while back. He fought Ricochet.
Oh,
yeah, wow. It was WrestleMania 32 weekend in Dallas, and I don't even remember the company it was for. But Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway at the time was in the main event of this show that I went to. It was in a barn in Dallas, Texas. I don't know. But one of the early matches was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet, and it was quite good. Quite good. I'm excited. I know you're excited to see Zack Sabre Jr. live for the first time. I'm excited to see Orange Cassidy wrestle him because obviously we know Orange Cassidy has the wrestling shtick that he doesn't care. And Zack Sabre Jr. cares a lot.
Very much not a technical wrestler.
No, he's not, but I think he's going to show some of that off, Drew.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Because, he does... That's the shtick with him is he's lazy until all of a sudden he's not anymore. Mm-hmm. So, and when he's not lazy, he's real damn good.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, Johnny, that's kind of where I was still. Again, I think commentary probably could have, or they could have referenced it later on in the show of like, hey, maybe look, they got 2 more shows this week before Forbidden Door. Maybe they will, but I kind of left that segment with that same mentality of like, oh, they still need to find a third partner then. Instead of, I don't know. So I think commentary or just the show in general could have probably done a better job after that of being like, hey, just so you know, this is still happening, this trios match, or now this is
okay. So
you know what I mean?
Something that I missed on the Collision spoilers.
But did they tape Collision?
They taped Collision. Yes, Collision already happened.
I did not read the spoilers. I don't know anything that happened.
I knew that something happened, but I didn't know what specifically. But now that I just read it, it's probably still going to be a 6-man.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Again, like I just thought they left it. Again, you saw I was reading it off like it was still a 6-man. I was like, I don't know what's.
But now I don't know where does the Minoru Suzuki thing go
exactly. Like, is that something that they just do on Dynamite or Collision in the next couple weeks? Because again, it seemed like Minoru Suzuki also sent in his was on videotape, as were a couple of the guys, but it seems like a lot of the guys are already traveling over there for the weekend. So maybe he's not there this weekend, and maybe I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. I'm sure they'll clarify it tomorrow night on Rampage or Saturday on Collision. I'm sure they will, hopefully. But we'll have to see how that lines up. Because I am interested, and I know you said you just saw it, so maybe they did already announce it on the Collision tapings, which we haven't seen, most of us. But I am interested to see who that partner is. I am interested in seeing that. Okay. Let's keep it going. I'm trying to like save all the matches with stakes and title matches for afterwards.
Okay.
But
smart.
We do have another singles match. We have MJF going one-on-one with Hechicero. Now, we've seen Hechicero a handful of times here with the CMLL kind of agreement that they have on AEW when these guys come in for, you know, their little stretches of time. We've seen Hechicero. He fought Bryan Danielson a while back, which was a good little match. He is considered like the technical wizard of CMLL. That's my like kind of the vibe that I get is like he's considered one of, if not the best technical wrestlers in Mexico. We all know how MJF is good in the ring. How are you feeling about this? Obviously, MJF just came back, but a lot of these stories were kind of already being planted or told by the time he returned at Double or Nothing. So, you know, they gave him, it's in his hometown. You're going to be there. It's in his home city, his hometown, in his home arena, where he is usually, even when he was the all-time heel, he was treated like a god. It's good that they got him a match. It's good that he's going to be there at the hometown. But how do you feel about this matchup in general? I feel like, you know, is it lacking something for you, Drew, when it comes to MJF? Were you expecting something bigger? Or is it just because, you know, how are you feeling about it?
I understand that the premise, unlike some people on the internet, I understand that the premise of Forbidden Door is that it's people from one company or multiple companies versus people from other companies. That is the basis of Forbidden Door. That's what it's about. And while there are some matches that are not that on the show,
yeah, there's a few.
That's the OG premise of Forbidden Door is people from New Japan, people from CMLL, people from AAA, people from AEW, all fighting in some capacity. So that for that purpose, this match makes sense. Other than that, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest.
No. To me, this is like one of those like, hey, and like, again, I've only seen Hechicero on the times he's been on my television for AEW, right?
Me too.
But as Scott says in the chat, he's really good. And guess what? MJF is really good. This is going to be a really good wrestling match. I just think, you know, when you look at, and again, Forbidden Door is kind of one of those shows because when, like you said, the original premise of Forbidden Door is AEW versus New Japan versus other federations, right? Like that's the premise of it. So a lot of these stories that you're going to tell, they're not long-term stories. They're not stories that have been layered or built over time because half the people that are on this show don't really work for AEW. So as far as like the juiciness of the stories goes, like when you look at this card, what are the stories with the biggest juice? They're the stories that involve only AEW people. Swerve and Ospreay, Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, the Elite and the Acclaimed. Like those are the three biggest stories that are happening going into this show because they've been able to be told on AEW television for a decent amount of lead up. When you got guys in Japan that are flying over for the weekend, you can't really tell super duper juicy stories.
I would also say that Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. have been pretty well done.
Yeah, they've done that. They've done that pretty well over the last couple weeks. They've kind of ramped that up. I agree. But I feel the same way. To me, this is, hey, MJF in his hometown. He's going to have a good competitive match, but he's going to get a victory, and it's a win in his hometown because clearly he's going to be at the top of the card. Duh. He's MJF. He's the star of the company. He's the top guy in the company. Even I know he's not the champion, but like they know like that's where he is. They need to get him on this card in front of his hometown. They need to give him a win so he can go up there because we saw on Dynamite last night, Drew, that MJF comes out, and before he can really even say a word, we have Daniel Garcia walking out here, Drew. I loved this last night, Drew.
Daniel Garcia deserves all the best things in the world.
I loved it because at one point, this turned into, first of all, Daniel Garcia comes out and he cuts a great promo on MJF. And he says, hey, he goes, I know what you're about to do. You're about to come out here and you're about to talk crap about Buffalo, which as a Patriots fan, talk all the crap, MJF. But he's saying all that. And he goes, but I'm going to do something that not a lot of people in the back do. He goes, I'm going to say nice things about MJF. And Daniel Garcia starts talking about how MJF kind of motivated him. And he kind of did all these things. And he looked up to MJF and all this stuff, undersized and all this stuff. And Daniel Garcia looked at it. And MJF goes, hey, man, I appreciate that. He goes, I wasn't going to come out here and bury Buffalo. I was going to be a shill. I was going to promote Forbidden Door and do all this stuff. He goes, but how about this? He goes, I'm proud of you. Like, I see where you've been coming here. Like, you've been working your ass off, and I'm proud of you. And MJF offers him a match at All In, Drew.
Yeah.
He says, what about you? No, me neither. He goes, what about you and me? All In at Wembley Stadium. Crowd goes nuts. And before Daniel Garcia can answer, Will Ospreay's music hits. Now, I thought this was a good piece of business, Drew, because this does two things. One, you have Daniel Garcia, which last week we had that segment where Daniel Garcia was kind of laid out in the corner after his match when we got that first face-off with MJF and Ospreay.
Yeah.
So now you get Ospreay out here again. MJF is clearly pissed off that Ospreay's kind of one-upping him at this moment.
You see it on his face.
Oh, my God. He wanted to kill him. So MJF's pissed off in the corner. Ospreay comes out, and he basically echoes what MJF says, and he goes, hey, yeah. And he goes, how about this? How about next week, Daniel Garcia versus Will Ospreay? And he's confident, and he says not only for the AEW International title, but for the AEW World Heavyweight title too. Because Ospreay believes that he's going to win that belt and this show. Daniel Garcia is like, whoa, and Daniel Garcia accepts. And then Daniel Garcia afterwards, and when Will Ospreay kind of leaves, Will Ospreay and MJF really didn't, did they even acknowledge each other during this at all? Not even a look, right? There was like no acknowledgement whatsoever.
Will turned his head and looked at him and then left.
Yeah, because there was very little acknowledgement from both of them towards each other, which I like. Ospreay leaves. Daniel Garcia is then kind of like, hey, about Wembley or whatever. And MJF goes, hey, don't worry about it. That's a big-time opportunity. You deserve that opportunity. You just focus on that. And MJF, and that's how the segment ends. I loved it, Drew. I thought it was a great first segment.
Yeah,
on Dynamite.
And it continues pushing that ever since MJF came back, he's just had it out for Ospreay. He does not like him at all.
Yeah. And I think like, and it's good. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I don't know if it's eventually going to, because like a part of me thinks that MJF is going to be a super heel again. but he's just still so
Probably
over.
eventually he will.
Yeah, and he's just still so over, and this is in Long Island. Like, they know, they know that he's going to get cheered because he's just still so over. But, like, the way he was looking in that corner with Ospreay, I was just like, dude, I was like, at one point, MJF's going to snap, and he's going to take out Ospreay. And I don't know if that's the thing they're hoping that makes him the heel again. Because I do feel like the EVPs are them, but I do feel like AEW in general is kind of missing a massive heel, like a super duper heel currently. It was Swerve. Now he's a good guy. Christian was filling that role, but he's kind of in the trio stuff now. The EVPs kind of are those guys, but I think they need that one super duper villain.
So what I think is going on right now is that until Blood and Guts, the heels are lackeys for the EVPs.
Yeah. And Johnny even says, and John, I think he's still talking about the Hechicero thing here, I think.
Right.
But he says, I don't see why people are saying there's no stories. Hechicero is a hitman for the EVP. So there is that little twinge there that does kind of give it a little bit more depth than just kind of a thrown together match. But yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen. You might be right. They might be waiting for Blood and Guts. I don't know, but I just feel at one point MJF is just going to take out Ospreay. And I don't know if the crowd will swing to full on hating MJF again when he does, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, because MJF, when he first came back, he made it clear. He was like, I'm not the cookie cutter guy you saw last year. Like, I'm the old MJF. Okay, well, the old MJF didn't pander to the crowd at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's still doing some of the, I don't know.
If you look at the top 3 baby faces in the company right now, 2 of them were in the ring in that segment.
You can make an argument.
Will Ospreay and MJF.
And then you'd have Swerve as the other, correct?
Is that kind of way? The third. Yeah. Now, since MJF came back, he's been doing the 2002 Triple H return type of thing.
Yeah.
He's not wearing suits anymore, the scarf. He's coming down in a leather jacket, and like he's changed that up a little bit. And I almost feel like it's by design.
100%.
I think he is the Triple H right now of like that era of wrestling, early 2000s of wrestling.
Yeah.
I would say probably Will Ospreay is The Rock, and maybe Swerve is Stone Cold.
You think? I think MJF would be Stone Cold. Kind of the tweener. But you're right. No, he is playing the Triple H. Obviously, he had the jet. You might be right. You might be right there. That's not,
well, because as of right now, whenever The Rock was a babyface, he was always a babyface.
Yeah.
But Stone Cold had that more heelish edge to him.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's why I would compare him to Swerve right now, because Swerve doesn't mind being a heel.
No.
And Will Ospreay is 100% full-on babyface.
Yeah. As of right now, he is, yeah.
Triple H and MJF have that similar, like, upper echelon guy that can really swing both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that and of course, I don't mean to not mention Daniel Garcia here. I'm by me mentioning those 3 guys, I'm just saying, there's placements. You can see the placement in the company.
Oh yeah,
regarding them right now, and obviously Daniel Garcia is on the up because he's been winning matches. He was involved in this great segment.
I was going to say the last 2 weeks he's been involved in the ring at the same time with MJF and Will Ospreay. So they know, Tony knows where and we should all know from him being involved in these, where they value him or they view him as a, he's not far away from being in that realm all the time. you know?
Right. Yeah. Maybe Scott's right. Maybe Swerve is The Rock more than
Who knows?
well. Yeah,
But
but
I like the comparisons because I do feel like right now they do have those, and that's why I say one of these three I feel like needs to eventually be the villain. Because I feel like these are the top three guys in the company. They're each doing their own thing, but like MJF's going to want some gold eventually. And if those are the two main guys of the gold you're going at, like, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
That's what makes him Triple H, 100%.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's and like whenever Stone Cold was champion, Triple H wanted him. Whenever Rock was champion, Triple H wanted him.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, and I feel like we have a fourth guy who hasn't been around for a few that I think could come back and be a mega heel if they really wanted him to be a mega heel, and that's Hangman. I think Hangman's another guy.
It's funny that you mentioned him.
Well, yeah, because I think, and this isn't, you know what? Let's talk about it now. Let's go into the next trios match because I think what we're going to talk about involves these guys. So we have the trios match. It is the Elite, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, and Kazuchika Okada going against the Acclaimed. Now, at first, I thought, oh, this is going to be a trio. It's going to be the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass against these three. Well, we found out last night that it's not going to be Daddy Ass. It's going to be Anthony Bowens. It's going to be Max Caster. But they called one of their pals over in Japan, and one Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Scissor Ace, Drew.
Scissor Ace, the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That was so good that even Okada that was a real laugh. That was a real laugh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That was real. 100% real. When he turned around, Okada was legitimately giggling, and I was like, that's real. Because he's known that guy his whole life. Like that legitimately made Okada pop. That he called himself the Scissor Ace. But yes, so it's going to be the Elite versus the Acclaimed and Hiroshi Tanahashi in kind of a super trios match. The Acclaimed did defeat the Young Bucks last week on Dynamite to earn a future tag title match. They did win an eliminator match, so this is progressing the this moving forward. They had a little segment last night backstage and at ringside, which led to the Tanahashi video. I'm expecting the Elite to lose again, Drew. I think the Acclaimed and Tanahashi are going to win this.
No, I think
it goes the other way.
Yeah, I have to fulfill my conspiracy theory, so I have to pick the heels to win here.
That's fair. I don't know if they're going to go the route, because the Young Bucks are running around saying that the Acclaim beat them by cheating and it wasn't real and blah, 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 right? You could have, if it goes the way it goes where you have the Elite winning, then you have the Young Bucks saying, see what happened last week was a fluke, blah, blah, blah. You only won because you cheated, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, all right, well, give us the fucking tag match. Give us the title match. Let's go.
And the tag match can be at Beach Break next week.
Exactly. Or do you do the thing where the Acclaimed one-ups them again and they lose again? And now the Young Bucks are even more psycho, angry, whatever their reaction is. And then they're like, you know what? And the Acclaimed is, oh, see, we got your number, man. We got your number. We're going to beat you for those titles. And they're like, you know what? F this. Wednesday. We're doing it.
You know what? I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think Tanahashi is there to take the pin.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, from Okada, you think?
Yep.
Because Okada and Tanahashi, they have a long storied rivalry. Tanahashi was kind of his mentor and things like that. And look, it makes sense. I actually don't get me wrong, I have no problem with Daddy Ass. I love me some Billy Gunn when it's right. But I'm glad they put Tanahashi in this match. I think the Tanahashi-Okada thing is great. So
I get to see the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestle for the first time ever. I get to see Okada for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. because he's been in the company for a few months now, but I haven't seen him on a show yet.
Yep.
So that's going to be very, very special. I'm really excited to see. I mean, I'm gonna be seeing this show. The reason really why I wanted to go to the show is because I'm gonna be seeing some first timers.
Yeah.
You know, for me, like I've seen these people on TV, but I've not actually been in a building and witnessed them in person. I haven't seen Hechicero, as much as I really don't kind of care about that match. I get to see him for the first time. I've never seen Tanahashi. I've never seen Okada. I've never seen Zack Sabre Jr. I've never seen Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Well, here's another guy you probably have never seen. The next match we're going to talk about, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Jon Moxley defending against my personal favorite wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tetsuya Naito. Hell yeah.
Not seen him before either.
You never seen Naito? I somehow have been able, there was, New Japan used to do this stuff with Ring of Honor before Tony purchased Ring of Honor, when Ring of Honor was still a running company before the purchase from Tony Khan. There's a small building in a town called Lowell, Massachusetts, called the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. You can fit like 600 people in there. It's where WWE did like their NXTs. Back in the day when I was a youngster, Raw used to be there. That's how you can tell how big WWE has grown.
Right.
Raws used to be there. But I went to a New Japan Ring of Honor, like New Japan versus Ring of Honor show, and the main event of that evening was The Kingdom, which at the time was Adam Cole, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven versus the super team of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Ibushi. That's right. I got to see that match, and I was like, what am I doing here? There's like 400 people here. Why is this happening in front of me? But yes, we do have a singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. It is Jon Moxley defending against Tetsuya Naito. Now, Moxley defeated Naito to win this title. So this is a rematch for the belt happening on AEW turf at Forbidden Door. Should be good. Moxley was a bloodied mess when he won that title. I would expect the same. Naito is damn good. If you haven't seen much of him, he's very, very good. And Drew, we've talked about this before, about how they've had some big time matches for these belts, but nobody ever wins. I think Naito's winning that belt back here.
Oh, you do think so? I
do.
I actually thought so too.
I think so. I think this is the first time that we're going to see like a major belt change hands at Forbidden Door. And it is the New Japan World title. I think it makes sense. The AEW guy has it. The New Japan guy's coming back to get it back. I think Naito's going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be clean. I don't know. But I think Naito's going to win back that title. That's kind of I really say upset, but that's kind of my big like title change of the evening that I think is going to happen here.
Well, that's not the only title that's changing hands.
No. But I think this is like, for me, this is the biggest. I mean, it's a world heavyweight title, whether you value New Japan highly or not. I mean, it's a world title match. It's for the IWGP is a prestigious belt. I just think Naito's winning it back, and he's bringing it back home to New Japan. That's kind of where I'm leaning, Drew. You leaning the same way?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Scott, I was there as well. I've said it multiple times, but yeah, that was the same building that Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor for the NXT title there. I was there. That building was shaking. We have Johnny say.
Oh, we didn't mention. We just talked about that. But
yeah, I know. We didn't bring it back. So the Elite, Matthew and Nicholas, they said in a backstage vignette, they said that they were the ones who were bringing the wild card for that wild card matchup in the Owen Hart Classic against Jeff Jarrett on Wednesday. That's going to be happening Wednesday at Beach Break. But the Young Bucks said that they have the wild card. They picked the wild card. It's their guy that they're bringing in, which right off the top, I mean, the name, and we mentioned him already, but I was like, oh, Hangman.
It's him. It's him.
It has to be, right?
It has to, because They really and I mean, they didn't do this purposefully, but after Jeff Jarrett's video last week, which
Man,
God, what a
man.
did you watch the whole uncut one?
Oh, I did. And I was on Sunday brunch with Spencer. It was just me and Spencer last week. And I said, hey, look it. There were a lot of people leading up to it when they saw Jeff Jarrett's name in the bracket. They were like, why is Jeff Jarrett in this tournament? If you knew anything, do a Google search. Because I know how people feel about Jeff Jarrett and how, whatever, and the stuff that comes up. If anybody deserves to be in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, it's Jeff Jarrett. The dude was best friends with Owen. They were a tag team in WWE together. They ran the road together. He knows, if anybody deserves to be in this tournament, it's Jeff Jarrett. Now, they released that thing. They did the 1.5-minute thing on the show last week, which I thought was great. But then they released that 9-minute uncut thing. And that was some of the most powerful, emotional shit that, how can you not want Jeff Jarrett to win this whole fucking thing after watching that, Drew?
Yeah, I mean,
that's where I went. I watched that and I said, it's hard not to want that guy to win it now. It's hard, even though I know he's probably not gonna. And if you had to pick anybody to not win it, he's probably the first guy most of us are picking not to win it.
Yeah.
But after watching that, to me, I was like, did AEW just paint themselves in a corner, a small corner? Because I don't know how, as a human, you can watch that and not want that guy to win.
So now the thing is, we all do want him to win. But then the evil bastard Hangman Adam Page is coming back and is going to pummel him.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an even bigger heel moment for him.
Yeah, most likely. And it'll work that way. And I think it'll work. I just man, dude, they released that video and I was like, holy shit, man. I was like, give the friggin' thing to Jeff Jarrett. Give it to him. Just let him win it. Who cares? Obviously, when they're talking about a world championship at All In, we know it's not going to happen. Jeff Jarrett is not fighting for the world title at All In. But it was one of those things where, especially me, I was watching wrestling when they were tagging in the mid-90s. That was when I was a kid, starting to watch wrestling. Oh, man. But Scott, I don't think that's necessarily true, because I think what Drew just said is probably what's going to happen. Everybody is going to be on the side of Jeff Jarrett, emotionally wanting him to win after watching that. And then the Young Bucks are going to pick their wild card, which is probably going to be Hangman. Hangman was a heel, or turning heel, when we last saw him, because he was going crazy because of Swerve. If Hangman comes back and destroys Jeff Jarrett, or whoever the wild card is, we're going to assume it's Hangman at this point, but you know what happens when you assume. If it ends up being somebody else, whatever, it's going to be the evil Young Bucks guy that comes back and destroys Jarrett.
I mean, it's not going to be Brandon Cutler.
No. I mean, it's. I would be shocked if it wasn't Hangman Page. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if things don't go to plan as the Young Bucks want. I could see Hangman coming back and then eventually, not being the guy the Young Bucks think he is. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Because they suspended him.
Possible.
They fired Omega from the Elite and they suspended Hangman from the Elite. So if they're bringing Hangman back, obviously the suspension is lifted. They're going to assume that he's walking right back into the Elite. Well, what if Hangman doesn't really have those plans? The things that
I don't know. We'll see what happens. There.
Yeah. But all right, let's keep it moving here. We have a first round matchup in the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament. We saw a little face-off last night between them. It will be Bryan Danielson going one-on-one with former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Shingo Takagi. This match is going to be brutal. This is one of those matches where Daniel Bryan's chest is going to be
Shingo,
black
another person I've obviously never seen in person before.
Shingo is awesome.
Most of these matches actually have, in fact, probably all of these matches have somebody that I've never seen in person before.
I bet you, most of them.
all of them.
Oh yeah, it's all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. This match should be really good. I'm expecting Bryan Danielson to win this match. But Bryan Danielson's going to take a beating here. He's going to take a beating. Shingo is, Danielson's chest is going to have a time during this match. He's going to have a time.
Can look like raw meat. Yeah.
But I expect this match to be brutal. I expect it to be really, really good. Shingo is a physical wrestler, but he has really good speed for a guy his size too. So when he picks it up, he can move. I'm expecting it to be really, really good, but I think this is a no-brainer that Danielson's moving on in this tournament.
Absolutely.
But I expect this to be excellent. All right. Let's get into some meat here, man. We have a ladder match to crown the new AEW TNT champion. That title is currently vacant, and the 6 competitors in this ladder match are Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, Leo Rush, and the most recent one just announced is El Phantasmo from New Japan Pro Wrestling. If y'all have never seen, and I don't watch New Japan regularly.
That's because of Rampage. This has been announced as he's the last one. He won. It was him and AR Fox.
That's right.
And El Phantasmo won the match. So he's the last entrant.
Good to see AR Fox as well. But if you've never seen El Phantasmo, that dude's a treat. He's going to be fun.
He's not the only one in this match that I've never seen.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you seen Leo Rush before?
I have not.
All right. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm glad. And, it was, I believe Sean and Fightful came out and said that Leo Rush is basically going to be on AEW television more regularly moving forward. Good call. That's a good call. And I like the little backstage thing they had with him in Top Flight. I feel like them as kind of a mini group with like Leo Rush as the voice and the leader I feel like that could work. As like a heel stuff.
I feel like maybe Action Andretti is on the outs soon.
Yeah. And maybe Leo kind of fits in there.
Yeah, that's my guess. I think Shane Taylor Promotions adds a new member.
And you think it's gonna be Andretti.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you put Leo with them, then you have your kind of built-in trios match and your built-in rivalry, and could be good. It could be good. I think Scott kind of nails it. I think Jack. I mean, look at this whole thing is set up for Jack Perry to win this. Clearly, the Young Bucks were trying to just give him the belt a couple weeks ago, and this whole ladder match was created to kind of make it hard for Jack Perry to win it, right?
And I'm totally fine with it. It's very predictable, and I'm totally fine with it.
I am too. You know who? I mean, and look it from a storyline. I'm totally with it.
I know. I already know where you're going, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, Takeshita.
Yep,
that's who I want.
Who's going to end up on my lap?
I don't know.
I don't know what he means by that, but hey,
Scott's getting dirty in the chat.
Hey, it's a little too early for this talk, but I'm not gonna say no.
Scott's got no filter sometimes. He's got no filter sometimes. It makes the most sense for Jack Perry to get it. I have no problem with Jack Perry getting it. I like Jack Perry. I want them to continue this stuff, but I look at this list and I'm like, dude, give that shit to Takeshita. Please. I would love heel Takeshita running through as the TNT champion. I would love it. But I think Scott is right. This is for Jack Perry, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But this should be, I mean, we haven't even talked about Mark Briscoe. Like Mark Briscoe's been the star of Dynamite for like 3 weeks straight with his promos he's cutting. He brings a smile to my face every Wednesday, Drew. He brings a smile to my face. Dante Martin, we know what he can do. He even talked about it last time he was in a match like this. He injured himself. Hopefully that does not happen here. But we know physically what he can do. Leo Rush, El Phantasmo is going to surprise some people. This match is going to be wild. Johnny says he would open the show with Danielson. That's a good shout. I would open the show with this. You open the show with this. You get the 6-man crazy ass ladder match out of the way. You know, the crowd will be hot as hell. A spot fest. I think this would be another good choice for the opener. But yeah, I think this is Jack Perry's. Even though, please give it to Cash. Anyway.
You know what's honestly, I wouldn't open with either of those matches.
That's fair. I mean, again, I feel like
when we get to the match, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
which one
I feel like when we get to AEW pay-per-views, there's always like 3 or 4 matches they could open with. You know, but let's keep it going. We have a winner takes all match for both the AEW TBS Championship and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship.
This is the match I think should open.
You think this should open? All right. It is the AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné defending her title against the New Japan Strong Women's Champion defending her title, Stephanie Vacour. I don't know much about Vacour. What I've seen in the vignettes and her, I like her. But I mean, to me, this is
I've been
no-brainer.
Enjoying the video packages.
I am too.
Been doing.
I am too. I like her. I think this is someone that, if she has a good showing in this match with Mercedes, which I have no reason to think she won't, this is somebody that I could see kind of making the transition over to AEW at some point. Vacour.
Yeah.
I could easily see that, but to me, I expect this match to be good. Mercedes, no debate. She's leaving with both
Absolutely.
belts.
Absolutely.
No debate.
And that's why I think this should open the show. I think Mercedes Moné is the first music that you should hear when the show opens. And her winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship back in the beginning of the show, I think would set a great pace. I think it would be really good.
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with everything you just said. Honestly, I think it is a good opening show because you kind of know who's going to win. But I think, Mercedes matches are always solid. I feel good about this Stephanie Vacour person. I think that would be a good shout. And at Double or Nothing, obviously Mercedes' match got billed as one of the triple main events, so she went on later. But I thought that Mercedes should have been the first person you saw then. Scott, I believe you are correct. I believe that happened, or she at least, she showed up. Yeah, I think that happened. I'm pretty sure that happened. So I would be okay with the show starts and Mercedes is the first person out. I feel good about that. Man, we're only down to our last couple matches here, Drew. We then have, which I'm going to be honest, I think this is the best story they've been telling. Of all this, I think this is the best story they've been telling leading into Forbidden Door. We have a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. It is Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. Mariah May will be at ringside in support of both participants, she said. Last night, there was a tag match on Dynamite. It was a trios women's match. It was Mariah May, Shirakawa, and Toni Storm. And there was the juice they did after the match, though.
Oh, my God.
Drew, I'm not crazy, right? This, to me, this is the best story they've been telling.
It's the best story based off of longevity. But I would say that the actual main event of the show is the one I'm looking most forward to.
Okay.
But this is like the best overall long-term storytelling match for sure.
They had that excellent press conference. Contract signing last week, which tied into the Mariah May, whose side are you on? Pick one. all this stuff. Last night they have a match. They win the match. There's some dissension throughout the match, miscommunications between Shirakawa and Tony, the typical stuff you would expect. But really, after the match, all three of them are in the ring. Mariah May gets some champagne or mimosas, whatever it is. She brings it over. Tony Storm and Shirakawa cheers, and they drink the glass, and then Mariah May hugs Shirakawa, and then when she goes to hug Tony Storm kind of gets a little bit more animated with it. It's like grabbing her face, doing some stuff, which pisses off Mina. Mina goes to the corner. She grabs the bottle of bubbly, and Tony is in the middle. Mariah May's on the other side. She whips around Tony Storm, and she wants to break the champagne bottle over Tony's head. Tony ducks, and she breaks it over Mariah May's head. And then both women fall down to try to help Mariah May. And the ref is there. Tony is yelling, "How dare you? How could you?" Like just screaming at her. Shirakawa's like, I meant to hit you. I didn't mean to hit her. I love her. I care about her, blah, blah, blah. And it just added more intrigue. I thought the post-match stuff last night, Drew, was excellent.
And because of the post-match stuff, I have no idea what's happening on this show.
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
Mm-hmm.
It can, for me, honestly, I was always leaning that Tony Storm was winning, but I don't know anymore. It's really, it's the most, I'm going to be honest with you, Naito and Moxley, kind of unpredictable. And really, that's it. Like, I feel, I guess you could say, Tanahashi and the Acclaimed and the Elite also is a little unpredictable because it's not for sure that the Elite's winning. We just pick them.
Yeah.
But this is, I have absolutely no idea what Mariah May is going to do. I have no idea.
And that's what I think it is for, we have Scott saying that he thinks Tony still leaves as the champion, but after a mistake is made. I think it's going to be something like that. Like right now, I feel pretty confident that Tony is going to retain. But
I feel like she will, but
something's going to happen. Something's happening.
Something's happening. And I don't know what, but either because Mariah May is in the Owen Hart tournament. So
she is, and she's in that tournament because Tony put her there. Like Tony was like, she's in it.
So maybe they don't do the breakup right now. Tony retains, and then they do the breakup leading to a clear face versus heel for that title at Wembley.
It's possible.
Or she turns on Mina now. I mean, I literally, I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
And I think, it's the intrigue of it, really, that is kind of like, hey, I mean, I feel fairly confident in my pick of Tony Storm retaining. I feel fairly confident with that, but I agree with you 100%. I don't know where Mariah May's allegiances stand. I don't, because I know she cares about Tony, but this girl, Shirakawa, Mina, Mariah May clearly cares about this girl as well.
Yeah.
So I really don't know where it goes from here, and I'm very intrigued because I think that's the story here. Mariah May is either going to mess up. I find it very hard that she's not going to do anything, Drew, that she's just going to stand out there and be partial. And I don't know if she's going to try to help both girls at one point and it doesn't go the right way, or she's going to lean one way and it doesn't go. I don't know, but it's very intriguing to see because the end of this match is going to be strictly based upon what Mariah May does. I feel like.
Yeah.
And then, but I like you, even though I'm picking Tony because I feel like Tony's going to win. I like you. I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know what she's going to do. And I like that. I like that. It
Because
makes me
now you really can see her also help Mina
of course.
and have Mina win.
Yeah. But then after last night, she gets a champagne bottle across the face. This is probably where we're heading to. I would expect that Mariah May has to be the favorite to win the Owen Hart Cup, and that's kind of the culmination of it. Is there? That's what I would expect. So I do think she will retain, but I could see. Drew, it could go a whole multitude of ways. Mariah May could help Mina or try to help Mina, but screw up and cost Mina, and then Tony thinks that Mariah helped her. It could go the other way. Mariah could not help either of them. There's a lot of ways that this can go. That's why I think for me, even though I agree with you, and we're going to talk about the main event now, this has also been a really, really good story. I think I have preferred this women's story a little bit more because I don't know which way this is going to go. Whereas on the men's side of it, it's been a really good story, but I feel like I kind of know what's going to happen on Sunday on the men's side of it, if that makes sense, more than I do in this match. Yeah. All right. We are at the main event. It is for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It is the challenger, Will Ospreay, taking on our champion, Shane Swerve Strickland. We saw last night they teamed up. Could they coexist, Drew? Could they coexist? They teamed up in the main event in a tag match. Good match. And then afterwards, you know what? I'm going to say it, Drew. I'm going to say it. Will Ospreay deserved what he got last night. I'll say it. I like Will Ospreay. I get it. But the thing happened with the two belts a week ago or a couple weeks ago. Fine. That was a mistake, kind of. The way they presented it. That was kind of a mistake, and it just ended up being that way or whatever. Last night, Will Ospreay, little too cocky. Grabbed the belt again. Was trying to be the funny guy again with the two belts, and Swerve was having none of it. And he took him out, and he gave him the kick across the head, and I think Ospreay deserved it. I think Ospreay deserved that last night.
I won't disagree with you there.
This match should be good. This match should be really good. But I think Scott has been saying a lot of smart things in the chat today, but I do think the Callis family and Don get involved here at some point. And I do think that will cost Ospreay or distract him to the point where he loses and Swerve retains. And then I think that truly will start the demise of Ospreay getting out of the Callis family moving forward after this. I think something will happen. And I think Ospreay will get his first AEW loss on Sunday to Swerve. And then I think Ospreay kind of moves forward to leaving the Callis family and the MJF stuff and all that as Swerve kind of goes on to whatever he's doing next.
Oh, well, yeah, because I don't think he's going to do the Tiger Driver.
I don't either.
Because the stories have been building up. It's like, oh, he doesn't do the Tiger Driver, and then the next move doesn't pin them, and then he's got to do his last move to do it.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel like this is like a blood feud type thing. It's just like heated. It's a heated, like, it's not even a rivalry because they've never been rivals.
Ooh, we got Johnny saying that he thinks Fletcher causes the loss.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's Fletcher. I think the Callis family will. Because Fletcher, like last week, right? They had Fletcher stay there.
I think it's going to be Don Callis.
Yeah.
Anybody, because he's the one that's going to be screaming at him and distracting
If
him.
anything, I think eventually we get to the point where it's going to be Ospreay trying to talk Fletcher into, hey, you should be leaving this family with me. You're too good for this shit. You're too good to be with them. I know how good you are. You should be with me. Kind of thing. I don't know. I think the Fletcher thing is intriguing because of the history with Ospreay. I don't know if Fletcher's the one that causes the loss on Sunday, but Fletcher will be a focal whenever they decide, hey, we're going to do the strong angle with Ospreay finally leaving the Callis family. Fletcher is going to be at the forefront of it because of their history. I think there's going to be a story with Fletcher there. I think it's probably going to be Callis himself.
You know what I think might happen? And I mean, it could be the reason why they announced this match already before Forbidden Door. I think that Don Callis is the reason why Will Ospreay loses at Forbidden Door. And then I think Don Callis is the reason why Will Ospreay loses again at Beach Break. And Daniel Garcia becomes the international champion.
You think so?
And I think they do the breakup. They do the Will Ospreay out of the family angle at Beach Break.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. I'd be in on that. Maybe. I don't know. I
because he's going to be like, well, now this is the second time in a major moment that you did not listen to me. It has nothing to do with, that's never going to happen, Scott. As much as it would be great if it did. It's not about winning. It's about listening to Don Callis.
Yes, correct. Because Ospreay, in these matches that Callis has been yelling at him to do the Tiger Driver, and he doesn't do it, Ospreay still wins those matches. Ospreay has still won those matches, and Callis wasn't thrilled that he won those matches because he didn't do it the way that Don wanted him to do it.
Yeah. So this time, he's going to want him to do the Tiger Driver. He's not going to do the Tiger Driver. He's going to start yelling at him and whatever, and there's going to be some sort of a commotion, and Will Ospreay is going to get distracted.
Yes, I actually think that this will be the first time that this happens, and Ospreay ends up losing from it. And then we're going to get the proverbial Will Ospreay's feeling down and out in the back, and Callis is just fucking in his face. You should have done the Tiger Driver. You're not going to ever win if you don't listen to me, if you don't go all the way. Like, you can't be nice. You can't do all this stuff. And that's what it's going to be. And then Ospreay's going to either fucking hit him or he's going to say, F you, I'm out. I'm done with this shit. I'm out. And then that's kind of where we go. Scott, I probably agree with Drew. Although Callis has a lifelong scar on his forehead now for the business, I don't think Callis would take that move. I can see Will doing it to somebody in the Callis family in front of Callis, and that kind of being the thing. Like maybe down the line he hits it on Takeshita, or God forbid he hits it on Fletcher, or something like that. With Callis kind of there being like, no, and he's like, you want me to hit the fucking move? All right, here you go, buddy. And he drops one of his guys on it or something like that. It would be amazing if he gave it to Callis.
Oh my God.
Like, that would be incredible. I just don't think that they would. I mean, and if anybody would do it, maybe it is Callis. Like I said, he does have a horrific scar for the rest of his life. So you never know. But Drew, that's it, man. That's Forbidden Door in a nutshell. Should be another really, really, really good show as we kind of gear up for the summer of AEW here. Are you looking forward? Now, you're going to be in the building. Are you looking forward to the World Heavyweight match the most? That's the one you're looking forward to the most? Like if you had to pick like the top 2 or 3 matches that you personally are looking forward to seeing the most live, what would they be?
Wow. This one, that's a little difficult to answer, honestly.
Put me on the spot before we get out of here, man.
Yes, the Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for sure. Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa for sure. And I mean, all of these matches are going to have people that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, I was going to say, you haven't seen a lot of the people. So is there one in particular of these wrestlers that are on this card? I know you said every match has somebody you've never seen before.
Probably Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr.
Okay.
Would be my third.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think it's going to be a real treat for you to see a lot of people that like probably besides this event, aren't going to probably wrestle for AEW until next Forbidden Door. Most of them, or a lot of them,
Right.
So I think it's a really good opportunity. I think you're going to be seeing some legends, man. You're going to see Tanahashi. You're going to see Naito. You're going to see Zack Sabre Jr., Okada. You'll have better opportunities to see them because they're in AEW. But like the other guys, like it's going to be really, really good. Mina Shirakawa, even though I feel like she's in AEW now.
Yeah, seems like that.
Yeah. It should be a really, really good show.
And I get to see, and the other person I get to see for the first time ever is Mercedes. I've never seen Mercedes.
Wow, not even as Sasha Banks, huh?
No, never.
Wow, that'll be a treat. Yeah, man. So you're setting yourself up for a nice Sunday evening at Forbidden Door. You're going to be seeing a whole bunch of first time performers for you, big time pay-per-view. It should be good, man. That should be good. I am excited for you. I am excited in general. Say what you want to say about AEW, but one thing that they do is their pay-per-views are always fucking good. They're always really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think this one will be right along those lines. So looking forward to Sunday night. We might have to figure something out because next Thursday I'm going to be in Toronto for Money in the Bank. So we might need to figure something out, Drew, to either have maybe we'll record a Forbidden Door recap show, or I think you're going to be going live next Thursday with Pluggo.
Yeah.
So Pluggo is going to be filling in for moi next Thursday because I will be driving up to Toronto for Money in the Bank weekend as this show is live next week. So I'll probably be on my phone in the chat, or maybe on my phone for 5 minutes on the drive. As long as I don't kill myself driving, I'll pop in real quick and say hello. But so next Thursday, this show will be happening at normal time, but Pluggo will be filling in for me. So, it will be a very fun show, but we all know how Pluggo can get when he's in charge of the buttons. So it is what it is. But no, so I love Pluggo. I'll be seeing him later on tonight. But so that'll be happening. But maybe Drew and I can, if we have the time, can record something, even if it's a small thing, just to talk about Forbidden Door if, giant things happen or stuff like that. But regardless, I'll at least be back here 2 weeks from today for the reunion of JPJ and Drew for Firmly AEW. But Pluggo will be filling in for me next week while I'm up in Toronto. So Drew, let the people know where they can follow you. Let them know where they can find you and the other things you do on a weekly basis. And then I'll do my thing and we'll get out of here.
You can find me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. You can find me at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can find me collecting the Super Chats and the Humper Chats for Fightful's AEW Collision Post Show every Saturday night. Come check us out with Rick and Iridian and Cresta. Sometimes all three are there. Sometimes there's two of the three. It's a rotating hosting on that show, and it's really fun. So, yeah, that's it, actually.
All right, rock and roll. You guys know where you can find me. JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms, including Twitch. We'll be there a little bit later this afternoon playing some games, having a good time. You can find me here on Thursdays, JPJ Day, here at Love Wrestling. Thursday mornings at 10 with this fine fella right here doing Firmly AEW, and Thursday nights at 8 p.m., the flagship show of Love Wrestling with my man Pluggo, Between Two Beards. We have Mike from Indeed on with us tonight. We're going to be talking some of that fabulous, I know this is an AEW show, but that fabulous Bo Dallas segment from Monday on Raw.
One of the best things of the year.
Unbelievable. One of the best things that WWE has done in a few years. That was as good as it gets. As good as it gets. We'll be talking a little bit of that. We'll be talking some more Forbidden Door tonight as well. So yeah, join us at 8 o'clock there. Mike is awesome. One of the best guys. I'm looking forward to meeting that person in person next week in Toronto. I'm very much looking forward to meeting Mike for the first time. But yeah, that's where you can find. Yeah, Johnny, thank you. Loved having you here, man. Hopefully we'll see you here every week, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everyone being here. And for Drew and myself, until Drew sees you next week, I'll see you in 2 weeks here on Firmly. But Drew will see you next week. But until then, oh, my mouse ain't working. There it is. Until then, you guys know the drill. Peace out.
Peace out.